My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
We acknowledge the traditional owners of country throughout Australia and recognise their continuing connection to land, waters and culture. We pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Welcome to This Song Is Yours, a music podcast where we chat to a new guest each week, talk about their life and creative endeavours, and talk to them about some of the music they love. Our show works by chatting to our guests about music, but also getting them to make you a playlist of the songs they love. You can find the link to our playlist in the show notes. Welcome to episode 122. I'm your host, Simon Fink. Our guest today is Paul Kelly. The iconic Australian troubadour, after many years and records, has released his first holiday album, entitled Paul Kelly's Christmas Train. In today's episode, we're speaking with Paul about Christmas time at the Kelly household and what made him choose to record a holiday record. Here we go. Our guest today is an iconic singer and songwriter from Australia. Having entertained Australian audiences for over 40 years and releasing more than 27 studio records, he's just released his first collection of holiday songs and music. Please welcome to This Song Is Yours, Paul Kelly. Hello.
Hi, Simon. How are you going?
I'm very well, thank you, Paul. How are you?
Pretty good.
That's good. Thank you very much for joining us today.
It's a pleasure. Where are you?
We're in Adelaide.
Okay, my hometown. Well, I'm in Melbourne. We're trying to get to Adelaide. Think we might maybe get there in January, so it's been too long.
Well, please, whenever you're coming back, let us know. We'll make sure that the people do line the streets and give you a proper welcome. Now, Paul, we are here to talk about your brand new record, Paul Kelly's Christmas Train, which is very exciting. And I wasn't going to start with this, but now that we are kind of talking about Adelaide, I was wondering whether you were happy to discuss, I guess, your first initial memories of Christmas and those kind of family gatherings in Adelaide.
Well, I come from a big family, a big Catholic family, so Christmas was a pretty important part of growing up. There's 8 of us kids, and there's a big lead up to Christmas because we celebrated Advent, which is the month before. My parents would put a little crib in the fireplace, an empty crib, and we were encouraged to, and also a little bag of straw next to it. And the idea was to fill up that crib by Christmas Day. Anytime you did something, good, if you did a good deed, or you denied yourself something, like you say, I won't have ice cream tonight or dessert after dinner tonight, you can go and put a straw in the crib. Of course, you weren't supposed to draw attention to it, but you just put straw in the crib. So that's the idea that would fill up gradually. And on Christmas Day, we'll wake up Christmas morning. I think the first thing we'd do, we'd hang up hang up pillowcases around the in the living room for that. So that the presents would go in them. I don't think we put them under the Christmas tree. They went in pillowcases. But the first thing we do, well, before even checking on the presents, I guess, would go and check out the crib, and of course there'd be a little statuette of baby Jesus in there. So so it was very much around the Jesus and Mary story, and then we'd also on that, starting from then, that my parents would put the 3 white little statues. This is sounding nuts, I know. They weren't fanatics. They just, I just think it was sort of clever parenting, and making Christmas fun. But they would have three little statuettes of the wise men would be on the mantelpiece somewhere, far away from the crib. And then over the next 2 weeks until January the 6th, which is the day of the Epiphany, when Jesus revealed himself to the world, the three wise men would creep along. So that's every morning we get up and see, where are the wise men? Oh, they moved. How did that happen? They creep along and finally get to the crib by Christmas Day. So, that's so I remember that was sort of making Christmas mysterious and exciting as a child.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think having grown up in a similar household, maybe only myself and my brother, not as many siblings, but I think that sometimes it's to help, create that mystery of Christmas or the almost like the magic of it.
Oh yeah, very much contributes, and of course the other thing is that is to observe how pagan it is. Catholic Catholicism is just a form of paganism, isn't it? We pray to the saints, and we believe that the animals kneel at the crib and at the manger on Christmas Day. It's very much more pagan than the other Christian religions, I'd say, and that's probably why it's more fun. Catholics are more fun.
I would agree with you on that point. Yes.
I remember the priests and the Irish priests, and they go off to the races and betting on the horses.
Yeah, exactly. The album Paul Kelly's Christmas Train, one thing off the get-go that I kind of really loved was the fact that it doesn't I feel that you've kind of opened the doors. It's not just a Western Christmas album. I think that a lot of Christmas albums that you see are catered to a more Western society, or just that traditional kind of Catholic Christmas, whereas you've really not catered but included a lot of different backgrounds and I guess religions, everything else in this, which is a beautiful touch to this record. Was that kind of always a strong point in your mind to be able to do that on the record, for the record? Sorry.
I've always been interested in Christmas music over the years. My son and I used to do a radio show on Triple R community radio station. We used to do a Christmas special. We did 5 years running, 2-hour Christmas special. It's about 15 years ago, and over that time I started to develop, deepen my interest in Christmas songs and all kinds of Christmas music. And that's when I sort of started to realise there's so much great Christmas music out there, which often gets sort of obscured by, there's just so much Christmas music out there, full stop. Every year, pop artists put out a Christmas album, or there's a Christmas albums with various artists, and nearly any artist who's been around for a while will have done a Christmas song at some stage. So there is a heap of material out there. It's just a matter of finding the good stuff, and there's lots and lots of good stuff. And of course, there's a great choral tradition, religious tradition, classical music tradition. So I wanted to, and a great pop music tradition, with starting back with White Christmas, which was an unexpected hit back in the day, and that's when American pop songwriters realised, we can make good out of this, and then so it's become part of the what they call the golden age of American pop songwriting. All those writers turn their hand to writing Christmas songs. So we have that great tradition as well, great folk tradition, classical, all across all the Catholic countries around the world, and South America, and calypso, and reggae, and so it's a very, very, very diverse range of music related to Christmas. And then, of course, I was aware of the links between the Quran, the Islamic links with the Christmas story. They honoured Jesus as a prophet, and that there was a whole chapter in the Quran devoted to Mary and Jesus. So I thought we've got to represent that in some way. And that's why I contacted Waleed Ali, and we started talking about it. At first, I was seeing if someone would sing. I knew there's a very rich tradition of people singing the Quran in Arabic, in the original Arabic. Without you never do it with music. It just has to be the human voice. So I was seeing if someone might do that, and speaking to Waleed about that, and he put me on this, sort of, I guess, an open question about whether that would be appropriate. He put me in touch with someone who recites the Quran, sings it, and who gave it some thought. And then I sort of gave him the context. It's a Christmas record. Most of the materials to do with, there's pop songs on there. There's Christian songs on there, and so on. They decided in the end it wouldn't work for this. For him, he didn't feel comfortable. So, but Waleed agreed to read an English translation. So we settled on that in the end. And I love how that turned out, because he's got such a great voice, obviously, being someone who uses his voice on radio and TV. But it's got the quality of like someone reading a bedtime story. So I like the way that turned out, Waleed reading those beautiful verses. And it wasn't just that it's from the Quran that made it interesting. I mean, that's interesting itself, and to me it's an obvious connection, but it's also I'm not that aware of many stories of the birth of Jesus that talk about the agony of childbirth, and that's there in the Quran in those verses when Mary is in terrible pain and leaning against the date palm tree, and she wishes she could die, that this could all be over. I think the Christians tend to skip that bit. It's like, the miracle, Jesus was born. But Islam says, labor's hard. That was hard. So
I feel that, yeah.
That's another reason, why I really like those verses.
100%. I think there is a tendency to gloss over maybe some of the more realistic aspects of the story. Yeah. The track that Waleed does is incredible. It is, as you kind of said, it is almost like a bedtime story. It's very sonically very lush, and it is a gorgeous poem from part of the Quran. I know that Lior as well kind of sings a Hebrew prayer. You've got Marlon Williams doing. He's doing "Oh Holy Night" in Maori, which I've put it somewhere. Tapo Tepo. That's
it. Yeah, and that was Marlon's idea to sing it in Maori. I'd approached him about doing "Oh Holy Night" because I thought his voice would suit it. And when I contacted him and said, "Listen, would you be interested in singing "Oh Holy Night" from a Christmas record?" He said, "It's my favourite song." It's my favourite song, not just favourite Christmas song. So, and then he'd been singing it in choir since he was a kid, and he suggested singing it in Te Reo Maori, and then it was his idea to put a to have a children's. He said, well, maybe we should do it with a children's choir. So, and then he sent me a little phone demo, really sort of raw phone demo of him singing it, and then jumping to falsetto to imitate what he thought the choir might do. It's one of my favourite recordings, that I've got on my phone, and that was the sort of the blueprint for.
My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
It took a lifetime to find the person you want to marry. Finding the perfect engagement ring is a lot easier. At BlueNile.com, you can find or design the ring you've always dreamed of with help from Blue Nile's jewelry experts who are on hand 24/7 to answer questions, and the ease and convenience of shopping online. For a limited time, get $50 off your purchase of $500 or more with code LISTEN at BlueNile.com. That's $50 off with code LISTEN at BlueNile.com.
How we recorded it, we copied Marlon's little phone demo really, as close as we could with all the speed ups and slow downs because you need them with the way the song goes. And then we did that sort of all together as the band and without the vocal one. I was just sort of whispering the start of the line so everyone would know where we were because we all play together so everything spills. But and then we sent it back to Marlon, and then we have a real sort of piecemeal approach because we had to put the choir on later. But it's not like, I guess a lot of this record, and I guess a lot of making art generally, you've got to be open to all those accidents or other people's great ideas. So it wasn't like I didn't say, we're going to have this, a whole night has to be done this way. That was all Marlon.
It is a beautiful track, and I think it does suit his voice as well, almost too beautifully.
Oh, yeah. I think it might be my favourite. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but it has to be up there. It's one of my favourite tracks. He's got that, he's such a... Well, he has sung classically as well, so he's got... It's not quite operatic, but he's got that. He's somewhere between, I guess like a Roy Orbison.
Yeah, the tone is like a very...
Elvis. It's got that.
Yeah, exactly.
Bridges both worlds. Yeah.
The guest list doesn't just include the gentlemen that we've discussed. There was quite a lot of other incredible singers. We've got Kasey Chambers, Vicar and Linda Bull. One of my favourites of the last few years, Emma Donovan. When you're having all these kind of people come in, how do you decide? Was it just that people that you'd always I know you have a history with Vicar and Linda, but what was the process of deciding who's coming on to guest or who might suit what song or whatever the process is?
Just hunches, I guess. And Emma Donovan, that's another key track for me. That's astonishing performance. I've worked with her. I've known her for a while. I really like her records, the music she's been putting out with the putbacks in recent times. Pink Skirt from her second last record. She's put 2 out in a year. But Pink Skirt, that song for me is like my favourite song all year. So I really wanted to work with her, and I knew the Staple Singers version of Virgin Mary Had One Child, and there was no other person in my mind for that song but her. With that sort of that deep earth voice, so she was perfect for that. So it was pretty obvious. Vicar to sing Christmas Train, that was for me like, of course. That's from a band called the Bell Rays, and they're kind of a raw garage soul band, and I've always thought Vicar could make a great solo record in that style. So sent it to Vicar. She loved it. Linda doing Baby Please Come Home. We've been doing that song live for a while at the end of the year shows, and so that was sort of a walk-up start. Kasey and I, the very first time I met Kasey Chambers was at the Basement in Sydney. I was playing, she was there and her dad, and we ended up sort of hanging out after the show, playing music together, and we played some Louvin Brothers songs. We both discovered that we loved the Louvin Brothers, and the song "The Friendly Beast" is a song, and many people have done it. Johnny Cash, Bill Ives, but the Leuven Brothers version is the one I really love, and I thought Kasey would be perfect for that. The Leuven Brothers do it as a duet, but we actually did it as a trio with Dan Kelly singing. So we all sing all the way through, which is another thing I was sort of pleased to be able to do in this record, and that's also with Alice Keith and Simon Nugent come in, that we've done some recording together where we use the three voices all the way through. And to me, that's kind of very Christmassy, there's the thing of no one's taking the lead. People sing a lot, and the carols is like everyone sings. People might find harmonies. So I wanted to have that kind of that sort of quite a few strong harmony songs on the record.
I feel that what was it? Silent Night, I think, is one of the best examples of what you've just said, with the trio and the voices and everything just kind of blending in perfectly. The track, is it a lap steel that's playing in the background as well?
It's a pedal steel.
Pedal steel.
Again, it wasn't my idea. That was Simon Nugent said, maybe we should get. I know this guy Shane Riley. He plays great guitar, great ukulele, and pedal steel. Maybe we should get him to help us with this song. He played everything on the track. Shane, he played, I think, a nylon guitar, I think maybe 2 ukulele parts, and the steel, and we just sang, which is great. So you take the pressure off. But we cut it with Shane just playing the nylon, and we sang, and then Shane added the other bits. The other thing I like about that song was having a German verse, because the song was written in German
originally.
And Alice lived and studied in Germany when she was younger, so she's fluent. So she coached Simon and me in the German verse, and she took the melody and we did the harmony. I like that one.
It is a gorgeous track on the record, Paul. I'd like to discuss, if allowed, I know that the Little Drummer Boy, it is on the record, but I know that it also, outside of the confines of the record, does there's a little bit of a story, or almost a little bit of a tension behind the Little Drummer Boy and the Kelly family in Victoria and Kelly family in Queensland. Is this correct?
Well, it's a big beat up. It's a big beat up. There's been a friendly rivalry for a while about that song. I think it all started off when, about arguments about, when to cut. There's some odd bars in that song. Sometimes it's 3/4 bar or 4/4 bar, where to start the singing, or whether the singing comes right on the beat or just after. So it sort of grew out of that. And I think one year, I think the Melbourne part of the family recorded it on a phone and sent it up to the Brisbane album. I can't remember how it happens. Back in the mist of time, I think we said, let's both record our versions of Little Drummer Boy and see who's the best. And of course, the Queenslanders say theirs is the best, and we say ours is the best. And I don't think it'll ever be decided.
It's always nice to have a little bit of family rivalry at Christmas, and I think that it's very wholesome that it's over the Little Drummer Boy as well.
Yeah. Anyway, the Melbourne, we've sort of got the last word this year, so they might go quiet. The Queensland, obviously, I only recorded the song. I recorded the song with the two siblings that live in Melbourne, and my children, and so all Melbourne based. So the Little Drummer Boy on the record is sort of the Melbourne version now. So they're gonna have their work cut out to try and top
100%. With
Vic and Linda in as well. yeah, and what's more, we've got Vic and Linda, so take that.
with no disrespect to any of the Queensland Kelly family who might not even be listening to this podcast, but you have to step up your game, because I think the Melbourne contingent have definitely stepped up theirs this year.
Yeah, step up, Queenslanders. Come on. You can do it.
One thing I found out a little bit later after listening to the record a few times, which I was very surprised at hearing, was you were considering at one point not to include what is now, I would say, a modern Christmas staple in How to Make Gravy, that was almost not on the record at one point.
That's right. Well, I actually hadn't even thought about it. I said, because, it's already out. Yeah. But, just in the course of talking to people about the record and friends and the band, and people saying, "What? You're not putting How to Make Gravy on it?" I said, "Well, I don't want to put a 25-year-old recording on there. Just do it again. You play it live all the time." So we thought, we'll just record it and see how it sounds. We can decide whether we want to put it on the record or not. So we played it in the studio. We've been playing that song since it came out. It's been a regular in the set, so it was really quick to record, first or second take, and then it earned its place on the record. It's 25 years since it came out, so that's another nice reason to record it again.
100%, a bit of a celebration.
Yeah.
Have you found that over time people do approach you referencing gravy as like a Christmas tradition in their household, or that it's part of their Christmas routine? Or
a lot. Yeah, a lot of people bring it up. And we have actually done a clip for the new version, sort of drawing on that. It's directed, or the idea was by Sian Darling, my partner, who also directed the clip. She's done a few clips for me over the years. And it's her idea to put a call out through the social pages, see if anybody wanted to film themselves singing along to How to Make Gravy or doing something, to it. And so the big response. So the clip is the film clip, which comes out. When's it coming out? December the 10th. So there's a new film clip for How to Make Gravy, which is pretty much featuring, people from all over the country and overseas, doing their thing, singing along. I really like it. It's funny and it's sad and all the good things.
No, that's very exciting. I can only imagine there would have been quite the response to be involved in a project like that.
Yeah, it was big.
Paul, usually we would ask our guests what they're currently listening to in terms of, current records that they're loving. I feel that as it is Christmas time, if there's I know that obviously it's a little bit silly because a lot of it would have gone into this record, but whether you have some kind of favourite Christmas records yourself, whether you're a Bublé man or there's Mariah Carey playing in your household, or whether it is a little bit less traditional when it does come to the weeks of the holidays.
There's a really great a compilation called Where Will You Be on Christmas Day, which is got a lot of old folk recordings. I always like to play that. There's a great, it's sung in Spanish, but it's by a couple of Puerto Rican, New York musicians, Willie Colon and Hector Lavoe. It's called Assault on Navidendo, which means Christmas assault. Yeah, it's really up sort of dance record. That's sort of great to play. Phil Spector's Christmas Gift for You is always been a big favourite in all the artists on those songs, Darling Love and the Crystals and the Ronettes. There's a few, and Also, I've got a big Christmas playlist as well, just on my laptop, because I've been collecting Christmas songs for years. So, just plug in the computer and play that too. So there's a lot of stuff out there. I hear Nora Jones has done a Christmas record this year, so might check that out.
I think that that sounds like a very exciting, along with yours, I think they're the two exciting Christmas records this year, just as a point of difference or something that's just a little less pop and a little less, I'm not going to say anything disparaging to the pop people, but no, it is, Paul, thank you very much for your time today. Congratulations on Paul Kelly's Christmas Train again, and Merry Christmas as well.
Same to you. Thanks, Simon.
And that's our show. A massive thank you to Paul Kelly for his time. Paul Kelly's Christmas Train is out now, and we've left links in the show notes if you'd like to buy the record. We also want to give a huge shout out to Mariam at EMI Music for helping out with today's interview. This was our last show for the year. We want to say a massive thank you to all the incredible publicists, managers, PR coordinators, artists, and anyone else who has helped make this podcast what it is over the last 12 months. We'll be back sometime in January, but until then, happy holidays and stay safe over the holiday break. Until next year, cheers.
The most powerful designer drugs are the digital ones we use daily. And we get high off them. One touch, tap, like, scroll at a time. Just like tech creators want us to. Use digital without digital using you. Learn more at sync.ithra.com.